question that I've never been asked and a question that I have never really thought about. And she said to me, she asked, what exactly is wrong with codependency? What is it that makes it so unhealthy? And I mean, I paused for a moment, and typical coach, I turned the question back to her and I asked her if does she first and foremost understand what codependency is? Because if you're asking that question, if you're asking what exactly is unhealthy about codependency, it then tells me that you probably don't quite understand what codependency is. And then, me being me, I figured I wonder if some of my audience understand what it is, because actually it is a very complicated um, concept or phenomenon. And also, it doesn't help that it's phrased codependence. It sounds innocent. It sounds like an innocent phrase, but it's actually very, very unhealthy. If you are in a codependent relationship, of which most people are, especially people who are older, especially Rona, our parents have been in codependent relationships. So I figured let me make a video about what exactly is codependency and why is it that it makes it healthy? And I'm just going to say it now in case this video is long. It's going to be two parts. So I'm going to cut it in half. I will record all of it here. If it goes over 25 minutes, I will split it so that it is two parts. The first part is unpacking what exactly is it and giving you examples of couples that are in codependent relationships. I'll use fictional characters. And then what makes it unhealthy exactly. So as usual, let us begin. I have my notes and my glasses are clean today, so I don't have to clean them with my t-shirt. And let's start with the definition. What exactly is codependency? So codependency is very tricky. It's more than the need to be needed, because in simple terms you could easily say someone who's in a codependent relationship is the one who needs to be needed. It's slightly more than that. It's slightly more nuanced than that. It's more like you are the one that organizes your life around what the other person needs, meaning you you will only feel okay if they're okay. You will make sure that they're okay so that you are okay. I'll give you an example. Let's say your partner tends to be very, very moody and you are in a codependent relationship. So the moment they walk into the house, you can already tell what temperature they are in, what mood they are in. And if they so happen to be in a bad mood, instead of you just looking and saying, oh, he's in a bad mood or she's in a bad mood and going on with your life or continuing with whatever you're continuing, you are going to make sure that they are fine. You are maybe going to cook their favorite meal. You're going to shush the children. You're going to walk on eggshells. You're going to do something that's going to make them flip their emotion and be okay so that you are okay. So it's the inability to live with the person ali jwalo. Do you understand? So it's very, very complex, this codependency thing. And this is just but one example. Another example is the obvious one, that everybody knows, where you are in a relationship or you are married to an alcoholic or an addict and you play the enabling role. So their addiction, their alcoholism, much as it is not great. I mean, it's very unhealthy to live with an addict. If you've ever lived with an addict, I've never personally lived with an addict, but I grew up in a household of a drinking father and a codependent mother. So they were in a codependent relationship, which is why I said earlier that a lot of our parents growing up were in codependent relationships. They enabled one another, they managed each other's emotions, especially the mothers. The mothers would be the ones making sure that the house is clean, the home is quiet, the children are quiet, or so that the father is okay. So you don't know how you feel until you see him or her. Then you adjust yourself so that they are okay. Are you with me? So that's what makes it very, very toxic. Because what you do in a codependent relationship is that you abandon who you are. You are completely self-abandoned and manage the other person. So everything is about them. In an addict example, just to finish the example of, let's say the person is an alcoholic and they drink and drink and drink over the weekend. Come Monday, they're supposed to go to work. It is now you that phones the work, that phones Pastor John and say, oh no, Reggie can come to work, Reggie's sick, or Reggie got into trouble, or whatever it is. You are the one that goes to the clinic. And I'm speaking from experience here, having seen, my mom, having seen other mothers in Alexandra do that. They would walk to the clinic and make a deal with records or someone to create a note that the person was sick and the person was at the clinic, so that the person can go to work with that believer for nakula asakuli. It is you that picks up the phone and apologizes if maybe the drinking partner had a fight with someone and now there's a problem. It is you that goes and pay back the mashonisa because the partner took the money and can't pay it back. That is the toxicity of a codependent relationship. Now, why are you there when you see yourself doing all those things? It's because you are the codependent one. So it's not the addict. This is the tricky part of codependency. It is not the addict who's in a codependent relationship with you. It is not the moody, weirdo, creepy guy who's in a codependency relationship with you. It is you. It is you who is managing all of that. And why do you do that? Again, guys, almost everything that we find ourselves in comes from childhood. In your childhood, in your home, in your situation when you grew up, that scenario felt like love. It felt like it's safe. Having a drinking father, having a moody dad, having whatever. And I'm sorry to use males. It's just that's unfortunately our experience as South African Black people. It's always just the dad who was the weirdo. Yes, there are exceptions where it's the mother who is the problematic one, but generally it's the mothers who are managing these guys, who are managing this relationship, who are managing this codependency in relationships. And that is, in a nutshell, what makes it toxic. So when you take it even further, what makes it toxic is that you self-abandon. You live your life for them. It's almost like, if I can give an acting metaphor, an acting example, it's almost like you are two actors, but where now you don't have a script. You don't have your script of your lines. You rely on you're busy looking at their lines, their script, so that you know what to say after. So everything is around managing them, managing their emotions, managing their lives, making sure that everything is okay so that you are okay. So you don't actually know what it is that you want. You don't actually know how to be outside of them. It's almost like it makes me think of the Julia Roberts movie. I forget the name. I forget the name of the movie, but I'll put it up on the screen if I remember. But the Runaway Bride, where each time she's in a relationship with a guy, she takes everything. She adopts their interests, their hobbies, their likes, their political views, everything that the guy does. Now she switches and she becomes what the guy wants. Because that's also another form of codependency. And you'll recall in the movie when Richard Gere challenges her that, I mean, do you even know who you are? Do you even know what eggs you like? I mean, there's that scene, that powerful scene where Julia Roberts, I forgot her name in the show, in the movie, she then started boiling eggs, poaching eggs, frying eggs, scrambling them, making an omelette, and tasting them to see what does she like? Who is she outside the male gaze, the men that she was about to marry? So what makes it toxic, dear client, if you are watching, I know you are watching, what makes codependency bad and unhealthy is that it is a complete abandonment of yourself. Instead of you worrying about your own needs, what it is that you want, how you expand. You are busy worrying about what is he gonna do if I do this? How is he today? If he's happy, oh no, 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 we are happy. If he's cold, another metaphor is that, people who are in codependent relationships, when the other partner is cold, the one who's in a codependent is the one who's shivering. It's a very, very complex phenomenon, and I don't know if I'm doing it justice here in this video, but I'm trying my best to not be too technical or to use too clinical words. And that is that is what's irritating or that's frustrating sometimes about these terms, because they're so deep and they explain so much, but we don't go deep enough and we leave them at the surface. It's more than a clingy partner. It's more than needing to be needed. It's about literally living two lives, but mainly living his life as opposed to yours. And that's why even when the relationship ends, if you don't deal with your codependency tendencies, you are going to attract the exact same person. Another example of a codependent relationship is the rescuer, or, to put it in words that you guys understand, it's Bob the Builder phenomenon where, you almost exclusively prefer guys who are broken, deadbeat, so that you can then manage them. You are the one that wants to give them money to start their business. You are the one who's connecting them with your connections. You are the one who's helping them with this and this and this. And that them needing you in such a profound way is you feeling loved, is you feeling needed. So when they don't need you in that sense, you don't know who you are. So you don't know who you are if you are not rescuing some guy, if you're not Bob the Building, you don't know who you are. So I hope I hope I did this video justice, because I just think it's such a complex topic, and the question was just so profound, and I just wonder just how many of us understood the depth of this phenomenon. And mind you, this is not in romantic relationships only, the whole codependency thing, just to show how deep it is. It happens also in friendships. Hey, another dynamic in a friendship where there's a codependency is when the one friend is in constant crisis mode and emotionally dumps on the other. And then the other one is the free therapist. It feels warm and cozy and like, we are close, we are whatever. Meanwhile, it's not. It's actually a trauma bond if you think about it. And you find that when you dig deeper into that friendship, childhood issues come up. The one who is a free therapist to the one who's always in some drama, some crisis, some hey, all the time. There's just always something that's hectic. And the one who's always listening, you find that growing up, they probably needed to grow up too quickly. They had to mother their own mothers, usually the free therapists. And then the one who's in a chaotic relationship, you find when you go deeper, you find that in childhood, they are used to chaos. Chaos, when life is not chaotic, they don't feel like they're alive, they feel empty somehow. So that's another dynamic of codependency in friendship. It can also happen in the workplace, by the way. In the workplace where there's this one person who does everything, every task that has no portfolio or that it does not necessarily belong to anybody gets dumped on the other one. They are the ones that are supposed to now organize the year-end party. There's no dedicated person to do that. There's no committee. It lands on you. There's a trip that needs to go somewhere, it lands on you. You are the one that's doing everything for everybody. Yeah, that's a codependent situation in a workplace where you are the codependent one. So the thing to remember is that if you are the one that is feeling the brunt, you are the one that's managing the emotions, you are the one that's being the chameleon, you are the one that's enabling, you are the one that's overdoing, you are the one that's overfunctioning, you are the codependent one. Are you with me now? Are you with me now? It's not the others. So it is you that needs to stop. So if you stop enabling your alcoholic or your drinking partner, instead of if you stop calling Pastor John on their behalf, apologizing on their behalf, paying the mashonisa on their behalf, if you stop all of that, the whole thing changes. But if the person grows up and becomes responsible and stops drinking, before you heal, before you stop, guess what's going to happen? You are going to find someone else who's like that until you get it. Until you get it that you are the one in the codependent relationship. I hope it is clear. It's very deep, this thing. Also in parent-child, these parents who live vicariously through their children's achievements, who identify who identify completely with the child's achievement or accomplishment. Yeah, that's a codependent relationship going on there. And just remember, just remember the codependent one is the one who is doing the thing. It's not the problem. The problem one can grow and change and heal and move on. You will still go around looking for the same problem until you grow and heal and change. And I hope I've done this topic justice. I feel like I have not. But we'll see, if you have any questions, maybe if you comment and ask me questions for once in your lives. So maybe if you drop me a comment and ask a question, I might do it a bit more justice because I don't want to go too technical or too jargony, but I hope it's clear and I hope, dear client, you are answered. If anyone has any other question about anything, pop psychology, psychospirituality, spirituality, healing, relationship dynamics, growth, personal growth, please just drop a comment as a question and then I can turn it into a video and we can take it from there. And for now, this is my story. I cannot wait to hear yours.